Are you ready?
Fasten your seatbelts.
Drivers, start your engines.
Race activated. Sheer passion. Change the game forever.
Ladies and gentlemen, we give you Racing with Celebs.
Welcome back to Racing with Celebs, the place where we make you feel at home as we rev up the heart rate and pump up the adrenaline. This is the show where we reach the epitome of racing and entertainment. Your word for the day, clerk of the course, or also known as the COC, the official responsible for all on-the-track activities including demonstrations and parades. And that is exactly what I will be doing today. My name is Donovan Clyde, and together fun will be had on episode 10 of Racing with Celebs. Today, the action will take place at the Varkfontein MX Track. Finally, what started out as a dream has finally become a reality. An MX riding destination designed for both novice and experienced riders. Today, we don't have an ordinary celeb. We have one that I will have to watch my words with. Let's welcome EFC and UFC fighter Dricus du Plessis. He has won a lot of fights by knockout. I'm sure you know what that means. Dricus du Plessis made his professional debut in 2013. He previously competed in the middleweight division of EFC Africa, where he is the former middleweight and welterweight champion. In addition to being a two-time middleweight and former welterweight EFC champion, he is also a former KSW welterweight champion. Let's cross over to Johan as we warm up ourselves to meet the man.
I am not nervous or scared. I'm confident that he won't knock me out during today's episode. How exciting to have Dricus du Plessis on our show today. Hello, my name is Johan Snyman, and together with Donovan, we are here to bring you the best entertainment in motorsport. Today the action will take place at the Varkfontein MX Track in Benoni. The Varkfontein MX Track is situated in Benoni and opened to the public in October 2018. The MX Track and flat tracks were designed and built by the owner Konrad Skutter. The flat track is 1.8 kilometers and both two-wheelers and quads can enjoy the speed and flow of the track. It's now time to introduce you to our celebrity, Dricus du Plessis. Dricus, welcome to Racing with Celebs. It's a great honor for us to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to it.
And have you ever done something like this before?
Racing? No. I spent some time on bike. I grew up driving MX bikes when I was younger. I have a quad as well. And I spend a lot of time on the farm. So we've always had bikes and so. But racing, I have never done a race before. But it's I do understand bikes. I've driven a bike before, but this is something else. I'm really looking forward to that.
Nervous in any way?
I wouldn't say so. I think it's more excitement than nerves at all.
Well, to make sure you are safe at all times, it's time for your safety brief.
Let's do it.
Join us after the break as we hit the MX Track with celebrity Dricus du Plessis.
Mzansi, new spectacular singles brought to you by Roman's Pizza. Zihamba ngama 1-1. One single large margarita, only $63.90. One single large pepperoni deluxe, only $74.90. One single large 4-in-1, only $94.90. One single large sweet chili chicken, only $98.90. Nizwile. Order online at romanspizza.co.za. We deliver, or you collect. Roman's Pizza, best value.
Welcome back to part 2 of Racing with Celebs. This week we're going motocrossing with Dricus du Plessis then. So let's see how he is going to fare out on the dirt for the first time then. Ready to pull away, lined up on the grid with his fellow riders. Let's see what is going to happen then here at the Varkfontein Motocross Track then. So away from the light we go. Brendan Rush on the 273 is going to lead the field surely into that first corner. Instant between Vincent Spart and Jordan Kelly there by the looks of things at the first turn. Two bikes tangled up amongst one another with Spart sadly ending up on the outside of the circuit. Let's see if we can piece together what happened as we ride on board here. Too late on the brakes there and just weird. He almost rode into him, didn't he, really? And yeah, just running out of room. Too busy perhaps with a bit of focus, and either way it does mean that Spart is going to be quite far down the order. Fortunately, Jordan is able to keep going. Here is Dricus du Plessis on the 420 then. Let's see how he is going to fare. Of course, we've already seen two other people competing in motocross. Meanwhile, Brendan Rush on the 273 leads away from the 123 of Trey Moser, and then in third position now is Sheldon Vosloo on the 118 machine. You can see Brendan Rush doing a very competitive job of leading the way. Let's see whether he is going to be able to hold on to that until the checkered flag though. So through the right-hander we go. Meanwhile, here is Dricus du Plessis. Sitting in P4, behind him is Nathan Kuhn in P5. Here we ride on board there with Dricus as well. You can see shorter sleeves he's actually got on there. Not something I want to be doing, but clearly he seems to be very comfortable with that. Of course, well, he's used to, I guess, being hurt in a sense because he's a UFC fighter, really. Won his first fight in UFC, started wrestling at the age of 12 to 14. Age of 18, he won the WAKO K1 championship, and then MMA was the next step. Started fighting from the first day he stepped in a gym. And, well, being in UFC apparently makes all of the hardship that he's gone through over the last decade 110% worth it, apparently. And he's doing a very good job, actually, pretty handy out on these motocross machines. I guess he's got no fear, really. Coming at a bit of pressure from behind there. The number 7 looking like he's trying to find his way through. Nathan Kuhn there. Ready to find his way past. Oh, a rut on the outside there. That's not going to help him at all. And Kuhn goes into P4. Du Plessis now down into 5th position. So a bit of work to be done there. Dust being kicked up is just tremendous, isn't it? I mean, look at that. Visualization of the course is going to be very important here because you can't see where you're going if you're stuck behind somebody else. And, well, now that is exactly the case here for Du Plessis. Here is Sheldon Vosloo, meanwhile, in 3rd position. Holding on to P3 so nicely. Meanwhile, Brendan Rush still leads the way. So he is doing very nicely out there, and you can tell that his experience is certainly holding him in good stead. Meanwhile, here is Du Plessis, P5 for him, as he just lost that position, as we saw a few moments ago, to Nathan Kuhn. Can't really see where he's going as we pick him out from the dust. Going through into the left-hander then. Getting onto the power, and you can see the bike scrabbling for grip through there. Meanwhile, here is the battle now for 3rd position. Nathan Kuhn has managed to drop Du Plessis and is challenging Vosloo then for 3rd position. And he waves him through. There we go then. Nathan Kuhn into P3. Nicely done for him. Quite easy, actually, that one in that respect. Meanwhile, here then is Du Plessis still sitting in P5. Quite a lonely race out there for him, but, well, better than some other people that we've seen on these motocross bikes. They're certainly not afraid of getting down and dirty on these machines. Here's Christian Spart and Jordan Kelly battling for P6 and P7 respectively. Spart on the 2-stroke machine, you can hear that. Gathering up the revs. And likewise there as well, Jordan King also. Here's Brendan Rush though, still leading the way. And a problem there for Vincent Spart. He's dropped the bike on the 326. That's the second problem he has had in this race. Then is Christian. Svart, that is, on the 45, with Jordan Kelly now still very close behind. These two squabbling for position as they have been really all race. They've been very close to one another, but no moves have been made. Through the long left-hander, kicking up the dust and the dirt. And then Sheldon Vosloo just coming up to lap Vincent Svart there as well. Getting himself out of the way there is Vincent, and understandably so and sensibly so there as well. Du Plessis still holds on to P5 then, the UFC fighter. His first ever motocross race. Doing a very good job of adapting to it so far, keeping pace. Not letting anybody challenge him from behind as well. I think he'll be pretty pleased with this result when the checkered flag comes down. Of course, this is the thing, he'll be incredibly fit being an athlete, but he is going to start fatiguing, I would imagine, because motocross, you use muscles that you probably didn't even know you had, and by the time you wake up the following morning, my goodness, do you know about it. Here's Jordan Kelly passing Christian Sport then. Or trying to, at least. Yeah, he has in fact now found his way past instead, so Kelly now into P7. P6 rather, Sport down into P7. Du Plessis, meanwhile, still up the road in P5 as we look at him here. That dust still being a very prominent thing at this circuit then. Through the long left-hander. Riding on board, and you can see just how taxing it must be on your body going through these corners, because he is really throwing the kitchen sink at it. Meanwhile, here is Brendan Rush just getting past some backmarkers, or at least trying to, onto the power, flicking the front wheel into the air and down into the right-hander there as well. Small wonder you have to wear goggles when riding one of these things. Down into the left-hander we go, still more backmarkers for Brendan Rush to be able to get his way past, and let's see whether he's going to be able to find his way past the next one with relative ease. Trying to go towards the outside. Meanwhile, Dricus du Plessis finishing in P5. Then the checkered flag is out, and it's going to wave for the race winner of Brendan Rush. What a great race it has been for him, and what a fantastically well-deserved 5th place finish it will be for Dricus du Plessis then. The checkered flag flies, Rush takes the win in race 1 ahead of Trey Moser and Nathan Kuhn in 3rd position. Vosloo, du Plessis, Jordan Kelly, Christian Svart and Vincent Svart complete the 8 finishers at the checkered flag. Race number 2 ready to get underway then here at the Varkfontein Motocross Track. Away from the gate we go, and who's going to get the best drag down towards the first corner? Hopefully these guys are all going to make it through that first corner this time, unlike we had in race number 1. Looks like it is going to be Brendan Rush who's been able to take the lead ahead of Trey Moser. Nathan Kuhn then into 3rd place, and Sheldon Vosloo into 4th position. So very much the same story as we had in race number 1, and this of course is the really difficult time when you're in close combat with these other riders, is that dust. Look at the lack of visualization of view that you've got in front of you. You really can't see anything. As we get to peter out later on in the race, I'm sure it will get a little bit easier, but, well, that's going to be subjective, of course, due to wind conditions and stuff. It could blow it from one part of the track to another. Here then is Brendan Rush leading the way once again in race 2, as he did in race 1. Trey Moser there in 2nd position, Nathan Kuhn in 3rd. Sheldon Vosloo doing a good job of holding onto the back then of Kuhn this time around. So through the right-hander we go then. With the race leader, you can see him in the back part of the circuit. Here then is Trey Moser then in 2nd position. Quite a race for him in race 1, but that podium finish in 2nd place will be a very welcome result for him, but still, he'll have been hoping to have been fighting a bit further up the field. Here is Dricus du Plessis then in his 2nd race. P5, of course, as we saw him just a few moments ago in race 1. Let's see whether he is going to be able to do the same in race number 2, or whether he's going to be able to improve on that performance. Currently sitting in P5 in this race. We've seen other competitors who have done motocross in this Racing with Celebs series have problems with their bike, or problems even staying on their bike, so I think given his lack of experience under race conditions on one of these things, P5 is a very impressive result. Taking that wider line through the final corner to try and get over to the rut, to try and get some grip. As Brendan Rush comes through your picture now. Again, another very impressive result indeed. Here's Trey Moser then. Again, doesn't seem to quite have the pace to take it to the race leader at the moment, but he's doing a good job. Big moment there for Dricus du Plessis. That's going to cost him time. You saw the back end kick out. That cost the front, caused him to sit the front up. And therefore, he lost a bit of time going through there. Not too much. Unfortunately, managed to stay on board because it's very easy when that happens to get chucked off and spat off the other side of the bike. Dricus du Plessis doing a good job of staying on board, but still would have lost him time in his pursuit to get ahead of the man who just saw him go through his shot there, the number 118 of Sheldon Vosloo then. Through the dust he comes, and into the left-hander of Dricus du Plessis then. Four-stroke bike for Dricus, and I'm not surprised really because there's a mixture of two-stroke and four-stroke bikes, and speaking of a two-stroke, that's one going down, and it's Vincent Svart for the third time today. Well, he has had some real problems out on that bike, and looks like he might be hobbling to his feet, so I wonder whether he's just injured himself a little bit more there. Meanwhile, no such problems here for Dricus. And you can see there, Vincent sadly not been able to remount as Brendan Rush comes through once again. As I was saying earlier on, difference of bikes here, two strokes. As you can hear Brendan Rush there, very easy to tell because it revs that little bit higher. What about Trey Moser? What bike is he on? Let's have a listen. Yeah, he's on a four-stroke bike. You can tell that by the downpipe at the front of the engine, and also the difference in engine note is probably the easiest way to tell it. And if you're standing trackside, it's easy to smell a two-stroke from a mile off. I always think they should make candles that are scented like Castrol are, but sadly, I haven't been able to find one as of yet. Dricus du Plessis then, well, he's used to battling, but in a UFC ring, not out on track on a motocross bike, and he has done very well. He can hold his head high after this event here. Just kicking up dust once again, getting onto the power. Here is Brendan Rush once more, just been in an absolute league of his own throughout the entirety of this. Thoroughly well-deserved results he has taken here so far today. Trey Moser, a lot smoother going through these corners than Brendan Rush. What about Nathan Kuhn? What's his style like? Kicking the leg out a little bit late going through there, a bit more sideways. And you can see, speaking of sideways, Dricus du Plessis not afraid of using his right hand to get on the throttle, and even coming into the corner, he's almost backing it in going through into there. So very interesting to see how he's getting on out on track, getting more used to the bike, and still having a few moments like that one that we just saw there, but that's to be expected. Oh, and that's another big tank slapper going through there. Again, very lucky that he stayed on the straight and narrow as Vincent Svart finally manages to get himself back out in this race after a third off of the day. Here then is Dricus du Plessis just coming through the left-hander. Coming into the closing stages now. Again, this is when fatigue is going to be coming into play. Just something to bear in mind for the likes of Dricus, of course, who won't be anywhere near as fit as the likes of the race leader, just because of his lack of seat time on a motocross bike. Coming through into the right-hander, he'll be fit, but fit in another way. Of course, he's fit to fight in UFC, but fit to be on a motocross bike. I'm sure he's going to be full of all sorts of aches and pains tomorrow. So here then is Dricus going through the left-hander, nicely done through there as he comes onto the timing line once again. Here then is Brendan Rush, who again is still leading the way very commandingly and almost looks like he's just toying with things out there. Very impressive stuff indeed for him as he comes through that long left-hander. Then he's going to flick it right onto the power. Here's Christian Svart. I haven't seen much of him in this race. He's at P6 with Jordan Kelly in P7. This is a repeat of race 1. Bit of deja vu going on for these two boys out on track at the moment as it stands. Dricus du Plessis in 5th position. Through into the right-hander we go. More sideways as well and leg out into the left. Try and get that centre of gravity down, get the bike leant over going through those corners. Christian Svart and Jordan Kelly still continue to battle amongst one another. Through the right-hander they go into the back section of the circuit. Not long now to go until the checkered flag. Brendan Rush, what a race he has performed once again. It's going to be 2 from 2 for the 273 here. Very impressive stuff indeed. Dricus du Plessis is going to come home again, a very well-deserved 5th position, but around the final corner, over the timing line we go. Brendan Rush takes his 2nd win of the day in the motocross race here. Trey Moser and Nathan Kuhn completing the podium once again ahead of Vosloo. Du Plessis, Svart, Kelly and Vincent Svart completing the 8 finishers.
I mean, that was it was incredible. The first race is a little bit tough. You know, first time getting used to the bike, used to the track, used to all the guys around you. And the second race went a lot better when I was a little bit warmer. and but I mean, so much fun. I mean, the first race, the guys went down right on the first corner. I was like, wow, I'm so happy that's not me. No, I mean, anything that gets the adrenaline going is always fun. I really enjoyed it. It was awesome.
After the break, we catch up with Dricus du Plessis to find out more about his fighting career.
We are back with our celebrity for today, Dricus du Plessis. Dricus, how did you end up in EFC and now UFC?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long road. I started judo at the age of 5, and I guess I've been involved in some form of martial arts since I was 5 years old. Never really, like, it's never been something that my family pursued as being professional or anything like that. I just found a love for it. You know, any kid loves some karate movies, and I just watched some movies. I just loved it since I started. And when I was 14 years old, I started with kickboxing. I became a kickboxing world champion, and I mean, then UFC came, and all of a sudden I was doing this professionally, and it's basically living my dream every day. I love what I do, and you know, the UFC is the ultimate organization in the world to fight for, and it's been a long, hard road since I was 19 years old. Started my professional career. Being in the UFC has always been my goal, and yeah, now I got that opportunity, and you know, finally I'm in the UFC, and now it's the road to the title in the UFC.
Just before the interview, we had a chat about, you know, let's say 30 seconds or 40 seconds before a fight starts, what goes through your head, and you said it's actually quite a difficult question.
Yeah.
But just tell the viewers exactly what your mindset, or you know, your thinking pattern going into that fight.
Yeah, it's a hard thing, because I mean, you're not really thinking about anything else, and you're not really thinking about the fight itself, because it's on its way to. I mean, it's happening right now.
Yes.
But I mean, the whole thought process is just to, you know, like, you know, the moment's so big, and it's all about, you know, thinking to yourself, and there's doubt. There's doubt. There's quite a lot of doubt, especially so close to the fight, like 30 seconds before, did I prepare enough? And it just runs through your head, and you know, I guess as soon as the bell goes off, the fight's starting, and then all of a sudden all the doubt's gone. It's just confidence. It's just, you have to believe in your training, and I guess for a lot of people that's where it becomes hard. If you know you didn't prepare yourself 100% for the fight, then the doubts can sink in. But for me, I always like to go into fights 110% prepared. I always have, and I guess that's where that calms you down. You know, you did everything you possibly can, and there has to be a winner and there has to be a loser. Obviously, nobody wants to go home with a loser, and I'll do everything in my power I can to be the winner, and I know I prepared my best to be the winner. And you know, it's the thought process is almost like, whatever happens now happens. It's I mean, it's out of your hands basically. Go out there, give your best, and see what happens.
If you've got a message for young up-and-coming fighters, what will your message be to them?
My message is quite simple. I think, you know, a lot of people start the sport because they see you on TV, they see you have the potential to fight on TV, they see the limelight, they see, I mean, everything that goes with being a professional sports star on TV. But the fight game is a little bit different than anything else. There's no talent that plays a role in fighting. It's a hard work, and you know, when you fight on TV, especially when you make it to the UFC, then you start becoming to a point where you can do this full time, really do this full time, and you know, you don't have to have another job or anything like that. But to make it to there, that's 10 years of being fighting professionally to make it to the UFC. And if you make it to the UFC, I mean, it's only the best fighters in the world. 90% of fighters will fight their whole pro career and not get into the UFC. And you know, you have to realize that if you're doing this for money, fame, whatever reason other than the passion of it, then there's no way you'll make it. You know, because there's going to be times, especially in training, there's going to be times in events where, you know, giving up is just the easier option. You know, no amount of fame or money is worth it, but that passion needs to drive in. If you don't have the passion, you just won't make it.
Dricus, thank you for your time today. We had a lot of fun, and I hope that you had it too.
Thank you very much.
Donovan, take us home.
Next week on Racing with Celebs. Catch all the action on Ignition TV, DSTV channel 189.
I was thrilled with Dricus. He is definitely a guy I would want in my corner. Thank you for joining us today. For more information on the series or our sponsors, please visit our Facebook page, Racing with Celebs, or download our mobile app Racing with Celebs on the Google Play Store or the Apple iStore. Until next week, goodbye.